So you're thinking about annuities, huh? Looking into ways to make sure that retirement income is steady,
Smart move.
especially if you're checking out stuff like this EquiTrust MarketTen Bonus Index Annuity.
Yeah, those are interesting.
Yeah, and that's what we're diving deep into today.
Let's do it.
Is this thing the real deal?
Right.
Could it work for you? Well, to get us started, I guess like what IS and annuity, big picture.
Yeah, for sure. In the simplest terms, it's basically like a contract you set up with an insurance company. You give them a chunk of change and they promise to pay you back.
Yeah,
A stream of income usually kicks in when you retire.
gotcha.
Helps you, not run out of money during your golden year.
A safety net.
Kind of.
Makes sense. All right, so we've got this MarketTen annuity
A MarketTen.
from EquiTrust, and we've been looking over some materials from Diversified Insurance Brokers.
Okay.
And one of the things that really stood out to me is this whole guaranteed growth thing, right?
Right.
But you also participate in the market. So how does that even work? What's the catch?
Yeah, that's the big question, right?
It's too good to be true, right?
Totally. I mean, a lot of folks are naturally a little skeptical of that kind of promise. They should be.
Of course, yeah.
Because it sounds like you're getting the best of both worlds.
Totally.
But what's interesting about this particular annuity is that it's really trying to appeal to those folks that don't want to go all in on the stock market.
Right.
They don't want to put all their retirement eggs in that basket. Too risky,
Yeah.
But they also don't want to completely miss out if the market takes off.
Right.
So it's kind of a way to dip your toes in without, taking on all that risk.
So is this kind of like having your cake and eating it too?
Kinda.
Because, I mean, who wouldn't want that potential upside, but without the fear of like losing their principal?
Yeah, totally. You still have that safety net, right? Your principal is protected if the market tanks.
Yeah.
But you're not just sitting on the sidelines watching everyone else make money. And you know what else?
What?
They're throwing in a little sweetener too. A 6% premium bonus.
Oh, wow.
For the first 5 years.
Nice.
Now, of course, you always want to read the fine print with these things, right?
Of course. Yeah.
Sometimes those bonuses come with higher fees or maybe lower returns down the line. You got to compare.
Right. Yeah. Don't get too dazzled by that initial bonus. Always look at the full picture.
Exactly.
And I can't forget about this whole tax-deferred growth aspect of annuities.
Oh, yeah, that's huge.
Because you're not paying taxes on those gains until you actually withdraw them.
Right.
That's going to make a difference.
It does. Big time. I mean, think about it. Your money is growing and compounding over all those years without the tax man taking a bite out of it every year.
Yeah.
So potentially you could end up with a much larger nest egg when you finally do retire.
Okay, so how exactly does this market entity link to those market indexes? Because it's not like just buying an S&P 500 index fund, right?
Yeah. No, it's a little more complex than that.
Yeah, the materials mentioned the S&P 500 Dynamic Intraday TCA Index, AUAD, the S&P MARC 5% Excess Return Index, which honestly sounds like a mouthful.
Right.
So break it down for us. What are those?
I know, right? They love those complicated names, don't they?
They do.
But basically, think of those indexes as specialized strategies to try and capture more gains when the market's going up.
Okay.
They use different calculations than your typical S&P 500 index fund. And the goal is to try and squeeze out a little extra juice, while still limiting that downside risk.
So it's kind of like having a team of market experts constantly tweaking things behind the scenes to try and maximize your returns.
Yeah, you could think of it that way.
That's a good way to put it.
But, even with those fancy strategies, there's never a guarantee that you're going to beat the market.
Right.
It's always about finding that right balance between risk and reward.
Right. And that balance is different for everyone. Totally. No investment is a sure thing, and tempering those expectations is always a good idea.
Absolutely.
Speaking of which, what happens if you need to access your money before retirement?
Liquidity.
Yeah, like what if something comes up?
Right. Well, the good news is this. MarketTen does offer some flexibility.
Okay.
After that first year, you can take out up to 10% of your accumulated value every year without any penalty.
Oh, okay.
And there are a few situations where they'll actually waive those surrender charges altogether.
Okay.
Like if you need long-term care, nursing home, things like that. or if you unfortunately get diagnosed with a terminal illness.
That's good to know.
Yeah, so they do build in some safety valves for those tougher times.
Okay. And what about this return of premium rider? That sounds like a good safety net as well.
Yeah, it is. It basically guarantees that you'll at least get your original investment back if you decide to just cash out.
Okay, so you're not going to lose money.
At least get what you put in.
Right.
But you know what we should really talk about?
What's that?
That income benefit rider, that IBR, that's where things get really interesting if you're looking for that guaranteed retirement income.
Because that guaranteed lifetime income is super appealing.
It is.
So how does that actually work? Break that down for us.
Yeah, okay. So with that IBR, you're basically guaranteed to get income payments for the rest of your life, no matter how long you live, and no matter what the market's doing.
Wow.
And here's the kicker, that benefit base, it actually grows by 6% per year for those first 10 years,
Nice.
which is huge because that helps keep up with inflation.
That makes sense, yeah.
So you're not just getting a fixed income, it's an income that could potentially be going up.
Right, to maintain your lifestyle.
Yeah, exactly. And they've even got a provision in there for if you develop a chronic illness.
Okay.
You could actually double your income
Well,
for up to 5 years,
that's great.
if you qualify, of course.
Right.
But it's like a safety net on top of a safety net, right?
Yeah.
Acknowledging that healthcare costs and unexpected things can really throw a wrench in your retirement plans.
Absolutely, yeah. That's a really thoughtful feature, I think.
It is.
It's not just about the numbers. It's about planning for those real-life situations.
It is. And, we can't forget about what happens to your money when you're gone, right?
That's death benefit.
A death benefit. So with this MarketTen, your beneficiaries would get the full accumulated value. No surrender charges or anything like that.
Okay, so we've gone over a lot of information.
We have.
Market-linked growth, principal protection, guaranteed income, even estate planning. What does this all mean for our listener? So much to consider.
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is.
I mean, I think the biggest takeaway here is that these kinds of annuities, like the MarketTen, they can be a really valuable part of a well-rounded retirement plan.
Okay.
Because they offer that predictability, right? That steady income you can count on when you're not getting a paycheck anymore.
Right. That makes sense.
But not a one-size-fits-all solution.
Right, exactly. And I think it's so important to remember that while we've given you a good overview today,
The starting point.
this is just a starting point, yeah.
Yeah.
You really got to think about, what are your goals for retirement? What's your risk tolerance? How would this specific annuity, with all its bells and whistles, fit into your big picture?
Exactly. Because everyone's situation is unique, right?
Right.
So do your homework. Look at different annuities out there. Compare them.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to ask those tough questions. Talk to Diversified Insurance Brokers. Get on the phone with EquiTrust.
Get those questions answered.
Getting the information you need.
Yeah, solid advice. We've spent a lot of time talking about this MarketTen annuity. But what are your dreams for retirement? What does that ideal future look like? And how can something like an annuity help you get there?
Right. Think about that.
Think about it. Talk to a financial advisor that you trust. Get their input.
Get the right advice.
And make informed decisions.
Yes.
Set yourself up for success. And that's it for our deep dive.